Today I'll be analysing a few players who are new to Fantasy Premier League for 25-26. All of them are new signings for their respective teams. The crown jewel of this summer's transfers, Florian Wirtz, arrives at Liverpool as the Premier League's most expensive signing ever. The 22-year-old German attacking midfielder joins from Bayer Leverkusen after an exceptional 24-25 campaign, where he scored 10 goals and provided 12 assists in just 25 league starts and 6 substitute appearances. Wirtz's underlying numbers are particularly impressive. He produced a key pass every 41 minutes in the Bundesliga last season, a rate faster than any Liverpool player except Mohamed Salah. His shot accuracy of exactly 50%, with 39 out of 78 shots on target, demonstrates remarkable precision in front of goal. With Liverpool's creative burden shifting following Trent Alexander-Arnold's departure to Real Madrid, Wirtz is expected to be the primary source of assists and could easily surpass 15 goals and 20 assists in his debut Premier League season. From a Fantasy Premier League perspective, Wirtz represents exceptional value despite his premium price tag. Midfielders receive 5 points per goal compared to 4 for forwards, and his creative output suggests significant bonus point potential under the revised BPS system that rewards shots on target and fouls won. Liverpool's second major acquisition from Bayer Leverkusen, Jeremie Frimpong, could revolutionise the fullback position in FPL. The 24-year-old Dutchman arrives with an unprecedented attacking record for a defender, having scored 14 goals and provided 12 assists across 47 appearances in Leverkusen's historic 23-24 treble-winning season. Frimpong's attacking output continued in 24-25 with 5 goals and 12 assists in 48 matches. His underlying statistics are exceptional for a defender: 34 shots and 30 key passes in the Bundesliga, with an XG of 5.16 compared to Trent Alexander-Arnold's 1.88. He also completed 94 crosses from open play, ranking 4th among Bundesliga defenders. Liverpool's defensive solidity, having secured 14 Premier League clean sheets in 24-25, provides the perfect platform for Frimpong to accumulate both defensive and attacking returns. His versatility to play right back or right wing offers tactical flexibility and potential coverage during Mohamed Salah's Africa Cup of Nations absence. Manchester City's acquisition of Rayan Cherki from Lyon represents one of the summer's most astute signings. The 21-year-old French attacking midfielder enjoyed his best professional season in 24-25, recording 12 goals and 20 assists across all competitions. His versatility, featuring in attacking midfield and on the right wing, makes him an ideal fit for Pep Guardiola's tactical system. Cherki's breakthrough performance in Lyon's Europa League campaign, where he scored in both legs of their semi-final against Manchester United, demonstrates his big-game mentality. His recent inclusion in France's senior squad and debut goal against Germany highlights his rapid progression. With Kevin De Bruyne's departure creating a creative void at City, Cherki is positioned to become a key playmaker. His ability to operate across multiple attacking positions provides excellent FPL flexibility, while City's expected title challenge suggests consistent attacking returns. Manchester City's acquisition of Tijjani Reijnders from AC Milan fills the creative void left by Kevin De Bruyne's departure. The 26-year-old Dutch midfielder enjoyed a standout 24-25 season, scoring 15 goals in all competitions while earning Serie A Best Midfielder of the Season honours. Reijnders' versatility as both a creative force and goal threat makes him exceptional value for FPL. His ability to carry the ball forward and contribute defensively provides multiple avenues for point accumulation. Playing for title favourites, Manchester City guarantees numerous attacking opportunities and potential clean sheet points. Brighton's record signing Charalampos Kostoulas arrives as one of Europe's most promising young strikers. The 18-year-old Greek forward scored 7 league goals in his debut top-flight season with Olympiacos, including crucial contributions in their title-winning campaign. Kostoulas' European pedigree is impressive, having netted 5 goals in 8 UEFA Youth League appearances as Olympiacos won the tournament. His physical attributes at 6 feet 2 inches and technical ability make him an immediate threat in the Premier League. Brighton's excellent record of developing young talent under Fabian Hürzeler suggests Kostoulas could quickly establish himself as the club's primary striker. From a fantasy Premier League perspective, Kostoulas represents exceptional potential value. Brighton's attacking style should provide numerous scoring opportunities. His age and development trajectory suggest he could become a long-term FPL asset. Leeds United's acquisition of Lucas Nemeka on a free transfer represents excellent business. The 26-year-old German international brings Premier League experience and proven goal-scoring ability to Elland Road. Despite injury-disrupted recent seasons, Nemeka's record of 21 goals in a single season at Anderlecht under Vincent Kompany demonstrates his potential. Nemeka's versatility and European experience, including his role as top scorer at the 2021 European Under-21 Championship, suggest he could thrive in Leeds' system. His familiarity with English football from his Manchester City academy days and previous Premier League substitute appearances provides valuable experience. For FPL managers, Nemeka offers a budget-friendly option with significant upside. Leeds' promotion and attacking ambitions suggest regular goal-scoring opportunities, while his free transfer status indicates he'll be competitively priced. Bournemouth's signing of Adrien Truffert from Rennes addresses their left-back position. Following Milos Kerkez's departure to Liverpool, the 23-year-old French defender brings versatility and attacking threat, having scored twice in 12 matches as a left-back and contributed 1 goal and 2 assists in 19 appearances as a left winger during 24-25. Truffaut's international experience, including an Olympic silver medal with France at Paris 2024, demonstrates his quality. His pace, intelligence, and ability to impact both ends of the pitch make him ideal for Andoni Iraola's dynamic system. From a fantasy Premier League perspective, Truffert offers excellent value as a wingback with significant attacking potential. Defenders receive 6 points per goal, and his versatility to play multiple positions provides tactical flexibility for FPL managers. Brentford's permanent signing of Michael Kayode from Fiorentina continues their excellent recruitment strategy. The 20-year-old Italian defender impressed during his loan spell, cementing his place at right-back for the final 6 Premier League games of 24-25. Kayode's assist for Yoane Wissa against Manchester United and his influential role in several key performances demonstrate his attacking threat. His long throw-ins have also caused opposition problems, adding another dimension to his game. At just 20 years old, Kayode represents excellent long-term value for FPL managers. His attacking returns and Brentford's solid defensive structure suggest consistent point-scoring potential. Burnley's acquisition of Quilinci Hartman from Feyenoord represents a shrewd signing for their Premier League return. The 23-year-old Dutch international left-back was part of Feyenoord's title-winning squad under Arne Slot, demonstrating his quality at the highest level. Despite injury setbacks in 24-25, Hartman's 15-year development at Feyenoord and international experience make him a reliable option. His desire to fulfill his dream of playing in the Premier League suggests strong motivation for immediate impact. Hartman's price point and attacking potential as a wingback make him an attractive FPL option. Burnley's expected defensive improvements and his set-piece ability could provide regular returns. Burnley's signing of Max Weiss from Karlsruhe SS represents excellent value in the goalkeeper market. The 21-year-old German under-20 international featured in all 34 matches for Karlsruhe in the second Bundesliga during 24-25, demonstrating remarkable consistency. Weiss's 4-year contract suggests Burnley view him as their long-term number 1, particularly with James Trafford potentially moving to Newcastle United or another Premier League club soon. His shot-stopping ability and distribution skills make him well-suited to Premier League football. At an expected price point of 4.5 million, possibly even bang on 4 if FPL resets before Trafford moves clubs, Weiss could provide exceptional value for FPL managers seeking budget goalkeeper options. Burnley's defensive improvements and his penalty-saving ability offer additional point-scoring opportunities. Chelsea's signing of Dario Esugo from Sporting CP represents a significant investment in young talent. The 20-year-old Portuguese midfielder, who holds the record as Sporting's youngest debutant, brings exceptional technical ability and maturity. Esugo's development at Las Palmas during 24-25, making 27 La Liga appearances, demonstrates his readiness for Premier League football. His defensive attributes and passing range could make him invaluable in Chelsea's system under their new coaching setup. For FPL purposes, Esugo offers budget-friendly access to Chelsea's midfield. His young age and development potential suggest he could become a long-term asset as he establishes himself in the Premier League. Crystal Palace's acquisition of Walter Benitez on a free transfer brings considerable experience to Selhurst Park. The 32-year-old Argentine goalkeeper arrives after 3 successful seasons at PSV Eindhoven, where he made 134 appearances and won multiple trophies. Benitez's international experience with Argentina and his proven ability in top-flight football make him a reliable option. His penalty-saving record and distribution skills could prove valuable in Crystal Palace's system. Despite joining Palace on a free transfer, Benitez represents excellent value for FPL managers. His experience and shot-stopping ability could provide consistent returns, particularly if he establishes himself as Palace's number 1 ahead of Dean Henderson. Bournemouth's acquisition of 18-year-old striker Eli Jr. Krupi from Lorient continues their investment in young talent. The French forward's development in Ligue 2 and Bournemouth's excellent track record with young players suggest he could make an immediate impact. Krupi's pace and finishing ability make him an exciting prospect for FPL managers seeking budget forward options. Bournemouth's attacking philosophy under Andoni Iraola could provide numerous opportunities for the young striker to showcase his ability. Aston Villa's investment in 18-year-old Turkish defender Yasin Özcan demonstrates their commitment to youth development. Despite his age, Özcan has already made 81 appearances for Kasimpasa in all competitions, scoring 5 goals. Özcan's versatility across defensive positions and his international recognition with Cherki at various youth levels suggests significant potential. His excitement about joining Villa and playing alongside Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins indicates strong motivation. While initially a squad player, Özcan's development under Unai Emery could see him emerge as a valuable FPL asset. His attacking threat from defense and long-term potential make him worth monitoring. So to summarize, Florian Wirtz stands out as the premium option with exceptional creative ability and goal threat from midfield. His expected role as Liverpool's primary playmaker suggests 20-plus assists and 15-plus goals are achievable. We're talking potential Salah numbers here. Jeremie Frimpong offers unique value as an attacking fullback with genuine goal threat. His combination of defensive clean sheet potential and attacking returns makes him a must-have asset. He could be even more of an asset than prime Trent Alexander-Arnold. Rayan Cherki provides Manchester City coverage with significant upside. His versatility and creative ability in a title-challenging team suggest consistent high scores. However, I personally believe Tijjani Reijnders provides even better access to Manchester City's midfield, with proven goal-scoring ability from deeper positions. He was AC Milan's best player last season. He's definitely going under the radar for most FPL managers. Charalampos Kostoulas represents excellent value as Brighton's primary striker, especially with João Pedro likely to leave and Danny Welbeck not getting any younger. Kostoulas' current ability and potential for development make him an attractive season-long option. Lucas Nmecha represents a free transfer bargain with Premier League experience and proven goal-scoring ability. Keep an eye on how Leeds use him. Adlian Tuffer offers wing-back attacking potential at mid-range pricing. His versatility and Bournemouth's attacking style suggest regular returns. He'll play every game, make no mistake, potentially a must-have if the Cherries hit the ground running. Also at Bournemouth, Michael Kayode offers attacking threat from the other side of defence at a reasonable price point and with significant room for development. Max Weiss could be the standout budget goalkeeper if he establishes himself at Burnley. His save potential and young age offer excellent value. In my opinion, he's better than Leeds goalkeeper Ilham Meslier. The 25-26 season presents exceptional opportunities for FPL managers willing to invest in new signings. The standout recommendations are Florian Wirtz and Jeremie Frimpong offer unique combinations of proven ability and system fit that make them essential despite inevitably high pricing. Charalampos Kostoulas and Adrien Twofoot provide excellent balance of potential returns and reasonable pricing. Max Weiss and Michael Coyote could emerge as season-long bargains with significant upside. The key to success will be early identification of which new signings adapt quickly to Premier League football and establish themselves in their team's systems. With the FPL scoring system rewarding attacking contributions and the influx of attacking talent, the 2025-26 season promises to be one of the most dynamic in FPL history.